Well, thank you for tuning in tonight. Tonight, we're excited to be here with Josh Hipp. We got Cameron, Milton Hughes, and Jacob Harris. We're going to be announcing the winner tonight for the Roush drawing.
Yeah,
And,
exciting stuff.
Who's not excited about getting their money back for a supercharger?
Yeah.
I know.
$8,500. Who wouldn't be excited about $8,500? Good Lord.
Yeah. It's a big deal. This is our first time doing this, right?
Yes. First time giving away this kind of value. I mean, back from when Lebanon Ford Performance started, we always gave away, hats and T-shirts and bags, and you guys do that on a regular basis. We've got the Bison cooler here and stuff like that. But never have we given away, or I should say, raffled off something like this, an entire supercharger kit. It's pretty cool. And I mean, one, it obviously is, it's great to give back to your customers. You guys had it's kind of a crazy time, so who wouldn't enjoy getting a little bit of their money back? And it's just nice. It's something that's really, 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 really cool.
Yeah, I think too, it's fun taking the phone calls, customers calling in, say, hey, how's this promotion working? What's going on? What's it entail? Jacob stepped into the performance role this year. He's kind of getting his feet wet with all of this, and what a great time to have customers like yourself calling in, asking questions, getting him, into the meat and bones of what this does. So I'm excited about it. We got Cameron this year doing common upgrades. He's been doing a great job with that. So, super excited. What do you think your outtake on this was, being new to the department?
Right. Yeah, so, I mean, the experience has been great, having all these people that are interested in getting a supercharged vehicle and being the person that's their point of contact within the program. It's been absolutely exhilarating. Building all your cars has been a blast, and seeing your faces when you first pick them up is awesome. I haven't had one bad experience yet, but how could you with 750 horsepower?
I mean, can you really have a bad experience when you're playing with fun cars, fast cars? Some of these cars are people's dream cars. They've never been able to afford something like this, or they've been wanting it their entire life. They're a big Mustang nut, or just looking for something new and exciting. And I mean, that's the value, and that's really the basis that this program was built on back when when we started it in 2016. Back when, even when I was a very small piece of the puzzle back then, we came up with the idea so that it was a way that anyone could access, or anyone with a reasonable amount of income could access their dreams,
right.
As far as a car enthusiast. And back then it was 670 horsepower for $40,000, and now it's 750 for just slightly more. I mean, it's great, man. It's great, and I love, even though I'm no longer here, obviously we're all still friends, and getting to check in and watching this thing continue to grow, and being on the product side of it now with Roush, and I know what's coming next, so I get to see what's coming next for you guys before you guys even know about it, which is really cool as well. Which is the 2023 Mustang, which I can't disclose.
I was going to say, some kind of sneak peek? What are we talking about?
We've got some new stuff coming, and all new. Obviously, when the Mustang in 2023 is going to be all new, that means new Roush stuff to come with it. So it should be very exciting.
Yeah, when you touch base on the customer's call, and what is the customer looking for as far as how they're going to use their supercharger? We have a prime example of a customer's car behind us, a beautiful car.
Yeah.
Taking delivery of this car tomorrow. This is Ryan Atkins' car. And you can see just the amount of customization he put on it. The yellow vinyl, having LFP 750 on the side of a car. Gives me goosebumps every time. It's like, hey, they're proud of our brand just as much as we are. And you guys want to be part of the family, which is awesome, because this is more like a family business. And delivering that. So awesome car behind us. And then you top it off, you open the hood, now you have 750 horsepower. Supercharger underneath there is pretty cool. It makes all of us smile every time we say it. So I'm excited about that.
The personalization with the power.
Yeah.
So
I've seen a lot more cars come out of here. I watch all your guys' videos still. It seems like a lot more people are putting the LFP logo. Either you guys are putting it in the car, whether it's a series car that you guys are building, which is awesome. For a dealership to be introducing their own series of car, or your customers just electing to put it on. I think that's exciting. That means that they, exactly like you said, they're bound to your brand, and that means that That means they enjoyed their experience, one, and that they want to keep enjoying it every time they look at the car. They want to think back about the people who put it together for them. Yeah. It's a big deal. It's a really big deal.
Yeah, and you got guys like Cameron stepping in this year, doing our most common upgrades, talking about level trucks, off-road trucks, lower trucks, and then Cameron takes our photos for us, which is another additive for that customer, right? They have some phenomenal photos. He's got some great ideas.
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much get firsthand, hands-on with almost all the builds that we do. I'd say about 9 out of 10 of them I do put my hands on and shoot and drive personally myself. And I mean, I see the craftsmanship through the whole thing firsthand. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and obviously, being employees here, one, you're a little biased to your brand, right? But being able to have multiple people look at the cars, drive the cars, experience the cars, it makes sure that the quality is top notch. Obviously you have Brian and Brandon who are just phenomenal technicians. You have Zach who does all the truck work as well. And the more reps that you get into the car, you're just going to ensure the value of the car. You're going to ensure the quality of the build long term. It's always nice to see a car leave and not come back. You know what I mean? You don't want it. You want it to come back for the next upgrade, but you want to make sure it runs good. And it seems like I'll be a little biased that using the Roush product. These cars just are built to run for a long time. Right. So, and that's the great thing about Roush in itself is that everything that Roush builds is essentially OEM quality or above. These things are never. These things are run and run and run. Yeah. For the first owner, the next owner, and the last owner.
Well, and from my seat too, being on the service side, coming out of the sales side, you really start to learn a lot about what actually takes place in putting one on a car.
Sure.
And how the customer is going to use it. And then during delivery day, you can go over that car in fine detail. But on the customer service side, where you're saying you're going to have a vehicle that lasts a long time, if you have to do a Roush claim, the customer support on the Roush side is just top notch. And they make it very easy to make a claim. The response time is very quick. And getting that part, getting the customer back on the road is always something that I found impressive with dealing with Roush.
Yeah, that's always been it's always a strong point of our business. You're only as good as your weakest player, right? That's true of any business. So when you talk about, our customer success team, whether you're placing an order or getting a warranty claim or a part's missing in a kit, we've got, a team of 10 to 12 people that are up there to just assist and get those things remedied quickly. Whether it is assisting a dealership, whether it's here or in California with a warranty claim, or even just like I said, a missing component in a box. It's quick, it's fast, and that's how it should be, right?
Mark and Gavin are phenomenal. I call those guys. They get to know you. They know you by your first name.
It's funny from me being on this side where I was calling people regularly at Roush to now working on the Roush side, and I work with them now. And I've known those guys for 4 or 5 years. So as soon as my first day of work at Roush, when I met them in person, it was like I'd been working with them for the entire time because we've been. When I would ring, they would know that that's Josh's number. They knew I was calling, but so it's that's the good thing about Roush, and is that it is a company that we try to build relationships with our dealers. We've even reduced our dealer quantity just to forge stronger relationships with the dealers that are doing regular business with us, like a Lebanon or some of our other top 10, that is just built to last. And I think that given the scale of the business that Lebanon does with Roush, that's a relationship that's going to be maintained for quite some time. And you get to play with all the newest products. Right. So it doesn't hurt that you guys have me at access too. So
Hannah, who do we got on here?
We had one question that what would be your favorite exhaust?
Favorite exhaust?
I think we could all answer that because we're going to have a different.
I think we're all going to have a different opinion. Cameron?
Not even just because you're here, Josh, but I personally do like the sound of the Roush, or the Borla sounds good as well. He has the Borla attack on his. That has a good tone to it.
Yeah, and I think, with compatibility, what you get out of the box with the Roush product is great product. Like I said, if you have any customer support with it, Gavin and Mark are there to help us out. I would say my top 2 exhausts are a Roush full axle back exhaust married with a H-pipe. I just love the deep rumble.
I do like it with the
H-pipe. You
H-pipe.
have that nice pop, especially with supercharged. You get a lot of volume with that. But for me, Roush-wise, it'd be Roush axle back with H-pipe, and then a Borla exhaust.
Yeah.
So, getting away from the Mustang, I think the active exhaust on these things, these
that's
Roush
cool.
trucks, are unbelievable. Man.
Yeah, that
being
is-
able
that
to
is
change
nice.
the setting on your truck,
That is nice.
it's just different, man.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with Milton. I mean, my 19 Mustang had a Borla Attack on it, Borla Attack active exhaust, which paired with Cook's long tubes. That was, you remember, the loudest thing you'd ever would wake the dead. So I was a big fan of that exhaust. I do really like the Axleback, the Roush Axleback with the H-pipe. I'm not wild on the X-pipe Axleback combo because even though I did have that on my 19, it was just obnoxiously loud. But for a more subtle sound where you get the volume from the Axleback, but you get the subtlety of the H-pipe, I prefer that. If I was to do a Mustang again, which I'm sure eventually I will, I'll probably do something like that.
Yeah, and we have a great video too on our Facebook site. So Cameron and Hannah and I shot a really cool video where Cameron explained the exhaust and how much weight savings. What was it? Somewhere around, what was the weight savings on just the X-pipe?
40 or 50 pounds?
Overall, I think, it was probably somewhere around 20 pounds.
20 pounds.
Took off. If you cut the resonator off.
Well, that big suitcase under there, man. I mean, not only is it heavily restricted for the exhaust, but I mean, it's just gigantic.
Yeah, it's huge.
It's just gigantic. So when you go to that stainless steel X-pipe or H-pipe, you're reducing a ton of weight. You're improving the efficiency of the exhaust as well as the volume and sound quality.
Yeah, so check out that video. Really cool video they did. You're showing them what the resonator looks like off the vehicle. Most people don't know what that looks like. And then you did a great job,
I appreciate that.
showing the X-pipe.
It's hard to even wrap your mind around when you say suitcase. You think it's a joke, but when you pull it off the car, it's literally, it's literally a size of a suitcase. So I mean, it's gigantic. And just thinking about how much that takes away from the function of the exhaust. I mean, it's just essentially you already have two large mufflers. You're just eliminating a third large muffler
And taking the weight off the car. We're all into performance, right? And letting the supercharger breathe better. That exhaust getting out.
Good air in and good and efficiency out. So I mean, it's important to do that. So I want to kind of jump on to maybe the existing structure because it's changed, right? Yeah, the structure of Lebanon Ford Performance has changed from my time here to the time after my exit to now, and maybe just tell everyone about who does what within the team now, because I mean the team is effectively you three now. So
when you call into the store or put an online inquiry in, basically the first person you're going to talk to is going to be me. I'm going to be the one handling your deal, going through all the car options, supercharger options, what we can do and what we can't do here. Etc. So once we get all that stuff done, everything's been cleared with the bank, the deal's been brought back to us. I hand all your paperwork over to Milton. We typically call you beforehand so I can introduce Milton. He's going to be your point of contact from here on out. Obviously, if you have any other communication, I'm more than welcome to help you in any way that I can. And after that, Milton takes the ball on it and handles the service side.
Yeah, so before you go into finance, traditionally what we would do is call you after finance. But now what we'd like to do is give you every opportunity to finance all the parts that you want in your deal. Where you talk with Jacob and I first, and then I would call you, hey, your car's about ready to go in. Are you thinking about shipping this vehicle? Are you going to come pick it up? And then any problems that we would have during the build, like inventory shortages, which have been a lot of headache this year with COVID. Just parts are not coming as quickly as
and I want to get into that as well. I think that's important to discuss with people who may be interested or have purchased vehicles and maybe still be waiting. I think we should get into that, but we'll get into that after this.
Yep. So I work with parts, I work with service, I work with sales, and I work with marketing. So sometimes when you get all these phone calls through the day and it takes me a little bit longer to get back to you, it's just I'm working with so many entities of Lebanon Ford to make sure your order's going well, make sure finance is doing their section that they need to do, make sure the deal's funded, so we can start your car as soon as possible. And then Cameron, you want to tell them what you do?
Yeah, so then the final step is I just get it, and I pretty much prepare it for you to take it home. I bring it to somewhere local, get some good beauty shots of it, possibly a video or two. Just pretty much handle the whole marketing side of things. Bring it to life outside.
I think that's. I think the idea of a condensed team is widely beneficial. We've had a mix of people in and out of the team over the years, and there are still some salespeople on the floor that are still contributing to the team. Mr. Hoyne does a great job of bringing performance customers to the business as well. But I like the idea of just a content. Everyone has their individual role. Everyone can be held accountable. There's not 7 people to hold accountable to one goal, right? So that the fact that you're handling the leads and the sales, if things are going well or going negatively, we can come talk to you. I don't need to figure out which of the salespeople is not doing well. I can just come, not me, but someone can just come talk to you. And Milton handling all the logistics and the service side, same thing. If something's not going right, a customer can speak to just Milton. You can speak to just Milton. And then Cameron obviously getting to touch every single car afterwards is something that was a struggle for a while, right? Hannah and I were doing videos 2-3 nights a week, and we still didn't cover them all. So the fact that you're able to get in here, and between you and Hannah can get in and do every car is what it makes customers feel better. They get some extra little beauty shots of the car, which honestly it means a lot, right? Just that little bit of just a nice photo of it, not a cell phone photo of it real quick when it's outside and in the gravel or wherever, means a lot.
Yeah, you helped us bring in TikTok. We got a TikTok channel now.
TikTok channel, yeah. we got a couple on there now.
Yeah, don't touch my trucks. One of my favorites. I'm a huge truck guy. I had to lower 2016 with the Whipple when I got this job. I was excited when I came here to show you the passion I had for it, because I looked up to you in that role. And then getting to know Jacob this year and what makes him tick and what buttons not to push. It's been fun.
He's an onion. You got to peel back the legs.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
It's fun to work with. It's fun to work with a younger crowd of guys that have the passion and the vision, and we all share that. Yeah. So going and get that photo is awesome. Working with you, doing the night shots and all the parts. So I'm excited.
And that's it. It all comes down to passion. The original slogan of Lebanon Ford Performance is where passion meets performance. That was the original tagline, and it, though we don't use it anymore. You guys, I shouldn't say we. You guys don't use it anymore. It's still there. It's still there. If you didn't enjoy the job, if you didn't enjoy the cars or weren't enthusiastic about the work, it wouldn't be as successful as it is. So the fact that you're still able, in COVID, in massive supply issues, everything else, to be producing the numbers that you are, 20-some Mustangs sold last month. Geared up for a big Q2 here. I think that's a testament to the team and what Lebanon is continuing to be. And there is simply no one touching you guys as far as volume of supercharged models. I've been to all the other big dealerships, and there are a lot of dealerships doing it very well. Don't get me wrong. There are a lot of people who have seen what Lebanon is doing, even when I was still here, and when I walked in their dealership as they're now the director of parts for Roush, knew me before I walked in the door because they followed the brand. They followed what they're doing here. They've adapted it to their own dealership. And
that's me.
Oh God.
my favorite one is, hey, I seen you on YouTube, which is cool because people are taking the time to really watch those videos, because we take a lot of time setting those up, right? Like
a lot of work goes into that, and the fact of the matter is that that's what the value of that, the value of YouTube and any social media for the purpose of this business is that you're making friends and building customer relationships, having never spoken to that person.
Right.
I was in Florida for work, and I was at a dealership, and I was walking through the service drive talking to the GM of the dealership, and one of the service porters came up to me and said, "Hey, you sound, mind you, I'm wearing a mask, I have a hat on. You sound like he doesn't see my face. He says, you sound like the guy that I watch on YouTube." I said, "Do you follow Lebanon Ford on YouTube?" He goes, "Yeah." I said, "I'm Josh." And he goes, "Okay." So, this is a guy, thousands of miles away, never met me, didn't even know I was in the building, but again, we had a pre-existing relationship, and talked to him for 20 minutes. He'd seen everything that the dealership had put out for years. And that's the value of what you're doing. That's the whole importance behind this. When I talk to you guys about video content, that's what I was preaching, and you guys have just taken it and run with it.
Well, I introduced you
between the four of you, Hannah, Cameron, you two, you guys are just doing a great job.
Well, I introduced him to a guy that I met in the La Roses 2 years ago. I had a Lebanon hat on, and the guy goes, "Oh, you guys do all that performance work?" I was like, "Yeah." He said, "Do you work on shows?" And I said, at the time, I think you had worked on a few. And I said, "Yeah, show me what you got." It was a black show. We went outside. Well, fast forward to today, his best friend calls and goes, "Hey, we want an Explorer ST, and my buddy gave me your phone number 2 years ago."
I mean, that's the benefit. That's what you're reaping. I mean, I remember last time, not 2020, but 2019, when I went to SEMA. When Tim and I went to SEMA, there we got recognized just for the hats that we were wearing. We didn't have a booth. We walk SEMA every year, but it seems that every year that I went to SEMA, someone recognized the hat and was a fan of the business, or was a customer, or their buddy had bought a car, something like that. So, Hannah, any questions that we can answer, or should we keep going?
The one question that popped up was in regards to Roush. One by one, what is your favorite era, or what is your favorite vehicle that Roush has ever put out?
Okay, so an actual Roush vehicle.
So either like era, like year,
Sure.
favorite year, favorite vehicle.
Sure.
That's easy for me. The JRE this year was gorgeous. 60 vehicles. We had number 40. The red, the Roush painted on the heat extractor with the light up when you open the door. For me, that car did it. Red is one of my favorite colors, and just the exclusivity of the JRE, and all the redesign stuff that was Roush did for the GT500 and just the parts shared. I feel like you got both of best worlds. Yeah. Having two vehicles in one. Yeah, the JRE for me was that vehicle.
Nice car. Beautiful car. Jacob?
You took my vehicle, man.
JRE as well.
I love the Roush Super Duty though. I'm kind of a truck guy.
The Roush Super Duty is just
I love trucks.
Drives good. It looks aggressive.
Though there's not much performance stuff you can do to it. With a 6.7, why do you need any more?
You have 1,000.
You can tow a house.
From the box. Yeah, so what do you need?
I think they're just gorgeous, man.
It's just a nice truck.
Truck guy,
It is
diesel,
nice truck.
lasts forever.
We're all in agreement here. The Jack Roush Edition Mustang. As a car person, I like the trucks as well, but as a car person, that definitely takes the cake. But I believe I did see pictures of the 2021 Roush F-150s, and those look pretty good.
Soon. Coming soon. Couple weeks. Couple weeks. Yeah, you should see some. You should see those on lots end of April. You should see your first 2021 Roush off-roads.
Yeah, we got a lot of them coming, like 21 of them.
You guys have a lot. You have 21 coming for spring, and then another 30 coming for summer and fall. You've got a lot. So no, that's an exciting vehicle. Wide body flares instead of the off-road flares. Just like this truck is the historical in the outgoing model. This is the 2020, and we went all new for 2021. Whole new design. It's going to be a very exciting truck. And then we have a new supercharger coming in the summer to pair with it, which will be just as exciting. I am going to be a little different, though I enjoyed the JRE. Rapid Red is just not my color. I'm a P51 guy.
I forgot all about
P51. P51 was an exciting car. It was ingot silver, had a bunch of carbon fiber on it, had that pilot suede and leather seats. That car was modeled after Jack Roush's P51 airplane that he used to fly. So he still has it, and still has the plane.
Really?
And Roush Industries is actually one of the only business companies in the world that has a workshop able to work on that engine for that plane. Very cool. So there's like 5 or 6 guys that have, they're old,
right,
but they're like super highly talented, yes, and they're working with these giant jet engines, and they're the only people in the country licensed to work on them. So yeah, that car was incredible. And Jack Roush Jr. just the other day was talking about, he talking about how much he loved that car, and he says, I think we need to do another one. So there may be a future P51 revival come back out. So with P51 on steroids, it's probably if Jack Roush Jr. wants it, it's gonna be
Do the F22 all matte black.
It'll be rowdy. So yeah, no. So we've got a lot of cool stuff coming. The F-150 off-road supercharged version will be back out in 2022. The Return of the Nightmare will be back in 2022. The Nightmare, previously being the quickest production truck on the planet, will be back. No big deal. Come on, 0 to 60 in 3.9 seconds. So on 22s, full weight interior. So that'll be back in 2022. A lot of cool stuff coming. A lot of cool stuff, and we're working on some stuff for international customers as well. So not that applies here in the States, but there's just a lot of new and exciting stuff happening at Roush. This is kind of a weird year, being a model change year for the F-150, a carryover year for the Mustang. It's been a long time since Ford did a 4 or 5 year model on a Mustang. Even when you go back to the 11 through 14, though that was a 4-year model, they made a change 12 to 13. So it was only 2. And then you got the 15 to 17, that was a 3-year model. Then you got the 18 to 20, you hoped it was going to end at 20, it didn't. It's going to be here. It's going to be here 21 and 22. We're not getting the new Mustang until 23, and that's supposed to be a 6 to 8-year model. So the whole flow of a Mustang is changing. Yeah. Less redesigns, more small refreshes. So this Mustang is unfortunately not going to be any new for the next 2 years. New colors, new packages, but nothing new and exciting. I have seen the engine for the 2023.
What?
I've seen it.
Oh, come on.
It's very exciting. It's very exciting. It's very exciting. I've already seen the engine. I've seen the changes that they've made to the engine.
Yeah. Is there a battery in there?
There's no battery. Well, there is a battery, but not an electric battery.
You get a Roush power cord.
No, yeah.
This cardboard fitting on the top.
So supposedly by the end of this next model, there will be a fully electric version, 2028 to 2030, somewhere in that realm. There will be at minimum, there will be a hybrid. But the rumor is that there should be an electric version by 2030.
That's the Mach-E.
Imagine that.
Mach-E's already here.
Mach-E's here, yes. But this body, or what will be the S650, which is the new chassis, there should be a fully electric version in the next 10 years. Which, if you saw the lithium-ion powered you saw it at Bowling Green. So they did the electric Cobra Jet, but at SEMA 19 they did a 19 Mustang with a battery in it, and it was like a full standard chassis with a battery, and it made 800 horsepower and 1,000 pounds of torque. So obviously Ford's not going to go that radical for a consumer car, but it just shows the capability of what that. I mean, you look at the Tesla Roadster, you look at even just a standard Tesla like 3 or Y or even the X. I mean, there's so much capability with the electric platform that if you're not ready for electrification, you got to get ready. Right. Because it's coming faster than we think.
Any other questions?
We have 2 more questions, and then maybe we can do our first.
Yeah.
They're kind of the same question, but in the past year, maybe 3 months to 2020, what was your favorite Mustang to build, and then what was your favorite truck?
That's a good question.
So, I mean, we can do just the Roush refund section, or we could do all the way back from starting 2020. Okay. Or we could even go even further than that.
I got my answer.
I'd do your full 2020. I wasn't included. So favorite build of your last year?
Yeah, Mr. Paul Wynn. That guy. Paul, if you were in here, man, you were a hoot.
Yeah.
Please sell me your Lightning. Yeah. I'm interested in the market.
Yeah.
He built this Rapid Red 2020 automatic 400A chrome wheels, Roush supercharger, exhaust, no lowering springs, oil pump gears, half shaft, and every week, or he called me on Christmas. He said, "Mr. Jacob, Merry Christmas, sir."
Yeah. Really awesome guy. Brought us pins to write with. And dude came in full style, man. Like dressed to the 9, badass car, just rips out of here. That was an awesome one. Being a truck guy, man, I think when we had our open house, I think you saw 3 of my favorite builds. I had the lowered white F-150, and I had an F-150 we did all carbon fiber interior, Roush platform. It was just overall a really nice vehicle, but it's really hard just to narrow down one.
All of them are fun, man.
Yeah.
I'm excited about the LFP build. Everybody put a lot of time into that, and I can't wait to see one of those supercharged, which, we're just waiting for that call. Yeah. Sure. So, what about you?
I'm kind of in the same boat. I mean, it's hard to narrow it down, but more recently, especially the series car with the custom interior, just everything that comes together with that. I'm a very simplicity is really my motive. So, yeah, I like our series car a lot.
And the dually.
And that dually looks
Wait till you see the dually.
It looks nice.
I was about to say, I mean,
it looks nice.
Yeah.
Photos are finished today.
I've been staying tuned. I don't know the customer, but that Rapid, though I'm not a Rapid Red guy, the Rapid Red wide body with the GT500 hood.
Brian Grono.
Oh, yeah, Brian.
Local guy, yeah?
Yeah, Brian Gordon.
Yeah, I see photos of that car everywhere on like every Mustang, local Cincinnati Mustang group that I'm in. That's a pretty car. It just,
Crazy.
I'm not,
On air.
admittedly, I'm not like massively into the wide body thing as I thought I would be. There was a time, I remember I used to talk about going wide body on my car like every week. And
Sponsor me, please.
and for some reason I just never pulled the trigger on it and then sold the car. But that car just is right. And I remember having the air ride in my car. I loved the air ride. So that car it has all the right things.
Well, we built RTR wide body cars, 10-year anniversaries.
Yeah.
Brian's car being the first spec 5, and then you did the black wide body. So we as a dealership have done 5 or 6 wide body. We got Earl Wentz wide body outside, Leadfoot gray with grabber blue. First grabber blue car we've done. That one's going to look awesome. We'll be shooting some content on that one here shortly.
Yeah.
But I mean, the wide body scene is picking up, and Lebanon's been.
Waves. Yeah, it definitely does. It comes in waves. People, it seems like it's a thing that people get into, and then it goes, and then a couple years by it comes back, and then it goes. So I mean, it's just it's a niche market, but I mean the cars are just insane. I mean, wide body cars in general are always just the most eye catching. Whether you're into it or not, you can't help but look at it. It makes you look at it because you just don't see anything like that.
What was the second one? You said.
Just truck or Mustang.
Oh, truck or Mustang. Okay.
And let me put you to expand it further of all time. What's your favorite of all time?
Like vehicle or build?
Build of all time. Yeah.
I know what your favorite is.
What are you trying to say, man?
You better say it's my car.
Buddy.
He used to have my car as his cover photo on Facebook.
It still is. Yeah, it was a great photo. But no, Josh, I don't like yours the most.
My car was the best.
You sold it, man. If you liked it so much, you would have kept it.
Well,
I'm still locked in with Paul. I
Went to a
mean,
good home.
just based off the experience in the car alone, I think it looked beautiful.
Outside of my car being biased because it was mine, which is still the most unique car this dealership's ever put together, because of the paint and Hannah, you'll remember this, the black Shelby replica car we built in 2017 that was on air. Had a GT350 front end, fenders, Ford Star wheels. It's beautiful. It was like the first really big build we ever did. It was like $90,000, and it was just insane, man.
I'll forever remember that because we were trying to get a drone shot of the air ride going down.
And we couldn't get.
My drone malfunctioned and all of the footage was pink.
Yeah, we take this beautiful car to go get photos because we're on the clock because he's coming, and
Literally down the road.
and nothing went right for getting content. The car was perfect. Car got delivered. Everything was. The car was phenomenal. But none of our content went right, and it was our first big one.
I was ready to break everything and just go home.
It was a rough day, but that one was fun. That was a big car. It was a big build.
I like Matt Tracy's now that I think about it. That
F-150 wise, yeah, that'd be my favorite truck. That thing was insane. It was lowered, wheels and tires, and it had that big ass Pro Charger on it, and that thing cooked. That thing cooked. Because I remember we went down. And I said I wanted, and I called when I ordered the Pro Charger. They said, "How much power do you want to make?" I said, "I want to make 10 pounds." And so we got a D1X, and we got like a 4. We got like maybe like a 4.25 pulley, because it was only on pump gas, and maybe it was a 4-inch pulley. I can't remember the pulley size, but so I said, hey, I want a 10-pound pulley. Just send me whatever a 10-pound pulley is going to make. We're going to be on pump gas. Well, the thing makes 16 pounds in its first pass. It made 16 pounds on the dyno and made like 600 plus wheel horsepower, which it wasn't supposed to make. I think it made almost 700 wheel, and it wasn't supposed to make anywhere near that. So we get off the dyno, and I look at the graph. I'm like, yeah, this ain't right. So we grab a larger pulley, come down, strap the larger one on, and we tune it down to 10 pounds, and it makes just under 600 where it's supposed to make. And I call Matt, and I was like, hey, man, or maybe it was when he was here. I was like, by the way, you got 2 dyno graphs. One has a big number on it, one has a smaller number on it. So the big number is because it made too much power. So you can show that off if you want. Don't ever do it again.
And he drives that truck. I mean,
He dailies it.
Huge Instagram
Yeah.
website. If look on there, Matt Tracy's website. The dude's super cool. Sells beard oils. Gave everybody cigars when he came in for delivery.
He sent us a box of cigars that had sprockets as a cigar holder around each one. Yeah.
Super cool guy. I mean, some of the customers we deal with, I think I enjoy them as much as the car. But for me, I bought a convertible in 19. And I bought it because I wanted to try to break the mold. I was like, everybody's buying these coupes.
Yeah.
And financing was 0%. I'm like, I'm going to jump on one of these. First Mustang I've ever owned, bucket list car, 401A, black package. But I felt like when we did that, we got a lot more convertible builds. We got one outside right now, supercharged, going to California, Mr. Bird's car. We had drive-in customers from Tennessee bring in their convertibles. We did a magnetic gray one. So it's just kind of like when I see convertibles coming in now, I'm like, hell yeah, because you can put lowering kits on them. We modify the exhaust.
Well, I mean, that's the power of living the brand. The reason that I bought the Mustang was not because I wanted a Mustang, right? Because I did want a Mustang, but I mean, it was also to dive in and live the brand. I'm asking all these customers to, because I remember for the first 4 years that I did the job, 3 years I did the job, everyone would say, well, what's your Mustang? They assumed that I owned one. And what's your Mustang? I remember picking up a car, or actually delivering a car to the customer's house. I trailered it to Michigan and dropped it off in his driveway, and he said, oh, cool. He's like, well, what's yours look like? And I was like, I drive a Focus. I had the Focus RS at that point. And he's like, oh.
What's wrong with you?
So that just kind of, registered in my mind, like, I need to make the shift. So then I sold the RS, and then, was it 2 years later, I bought the Mustang. But, everywhere I went with that Mustang, not only were our customers there, but we found new customers. Right. Because people see you out living the brand and not a dealer car, not a customer's car, your car. Right. And the fact that your car is an example of this brand because it's modified. Mine was, custom painted and on air ride and supercharged, all the bells and whistles. People respect that, and they want to do business with people that live their brand. Right. Not living it from the point that they're just announcing it to the world that they work there. Like, some people do. They'll wear a dealership T-shirt everywhere they go, or they'll announce, their dealership name and everything that they do. We never did that. We didn't scream it from the mountaintops. We just lived it. And that was the difference.
Yeah, well, you get to know the quirks, too, the sounds. What's normal, what's not, what kind of fuel mileage.
Kind of hard to tell a guy that something is happening to his car that's normal if you've never done it. You've never did it yourself.
Right.
You know what I mean? When you're going from only test driving a car 10, 20, 30 minutes to make sure it's right compared to driving 3,000 miles in it, it's a different experience. Oh, yeah. A guy calls you 6 months after he buys his car and he's put 5,000 miles on it and say, hey, this is happening. Yeah. You don't know if that's normal or not. You can assume, you have a level of expertise that it's normal or not, but you don't know, unless you've lived it.
Oh, I can sell snow wet mode like it's anybody's job. And I've experienced that because my 19 is a daily driver, a convertible. It sits outside. I drove it in the snow this year, and it was sketch. It was. And I had snow wet mode on, and one day I did have to borrow a Lebanon car because I couldn't get out. It was too deep.
So this will be the last question before we head into it. It's kind of experience that you've had with a customer. So like for mine, the first one was the very first video that Josh and I ever did. Was the customer, the family, they were getting a
God.
They did a replica.
No,
I'll never forget it. I'll never forget it. Yeah, so that was like one of the first videos that
was the very first
yeah, it had to have been the first one. So
It was on a Saturday.
it was on a Saturday. We did a delivery, so we had this family come in from Indiana, and amazing story, the nicest people you've ever met. They had this family drag strip car, which was a 67 Mustang that they had for a while. Times got tough. They sold it and were lucky enough to get it back a few years later. And it was a big deal that they sold it. They'd had it since it was brand new within their family and turned it into a drag car. They lost it for a few years, but then tracked down the guy that they sold it to and bought it back from him. So they come here to us early on. This must have been 2016, late 2016, summer of 2016, that's when it was, and said, hey, we want to build one that's now 50 years later. We want to build one too. And we want it to be similar. So we did the same color. We did ruby red. There was whatever ruby red was in the 60s. So we did that, and we put a 727 supercharger on it, and we did the graphics. It had this white C graphic that you'll see on some older Mustangs. So we did that to match their 67. We did a hood scoop that matched perfectly to the 67. All the graphics were exactly the same. The car looked like a modern version of their 67. And we brought them in, and it was for the wife. And she hadn't seen it. She hadn't seen a single photo of it. Only the husband had. And he brings his entire family.
Oh my God.
They're all here in the service drive. Me and a couple of the other guys were getting the cars ready. He trailers in the other one. She doesn't know the whole family's here. So he gets the car off the trailer. We load it into the service drive so that we can show her both cars side by side. And right before we do the unveil, the whole family comes out. So she's already loaded and primed, right? And then we then we had the cars. We had actually, it was the old. Do you remember the doors, the glass? So we had it was right where Hannah's at. So we had all the glass. Like we had written stuff on the glass so that you couldn't see in to see the cars. Yeah. So we open the doors and the 67 rolls out, and then Charlie was in the 17, and the 17 comes out and she just loses it. Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, and it was so emotional. That was easily my favorite customer moment. It just seeing something like that where it was literally just a dream moment for her and her family and their kids to see it all, because eventually both cars are going to pass to their kids. That was cool. Yeah. That was a really cool moment.
Sounds like something out of a movie.
Yeah, it felt like it. It was in a movie.
Is that on YouTube?
Yeah.
It was one of like the first videos.
I haven't seen this video.
It's still on there. Yeah,
I've seen most of them.
Yeah, you can go back and see it. It's still on there for sure.
Well, that's tough to follow up with.
Right. We should have went first.
Yeah. Hannah and I don't mess around. Okay.
My favorite memorable moment with a customer, to be honest with you, a lot of them just want me to shut up because I'm going over their car, and they're like, "Shut up! I'm trying to drive," and they just take the keys and get in their car and leave.
That was always my favorite. My favorite was
so they're like so excited they don't want to.
Yeah, they want to.
They want to talk, car. But like they want
to
see something.
My favorite moments of those of like doing the first test drive is when I was doing the test drives. I would always drive first, and I would say, "Okay, well, I'm gonna drive first. I'm gonna teach you the buttons, and then you're gonna drive." And
I can see where this is.
These customers were always very timid. There was a couple times there was guys that had never been anything this fast. The fastest car they'd probably ever been, it was 300 horsepower, and this had 700 plus. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna drive first. I remember having this one guy who told me he was never going to take it over 3,000 RPMs. I said, well, I'm going to. So we get out of here, and I said, okay, just buckle up, strap in. I'm going to show you how the traction control and advanced track works. So we flip it all off. I said, when you want to have fun, this is what you do. And he said, I'm never going to touch this stuff. And I just fucking hooked this thing up. We slammed it, and just ripped down 48, and you see him gripping everything, looking for the handles, looking for everything. We slow down, we pull off, and I say, okay, it's your turn to drive. He goes, yeah, no, I'm good. Just take me back.
Oh, that's awesome.
I've got another one, but I want you guys to do
Yeah.
yours.
I have two pre-COVID and after. And when we used to pick people up from the airport, to me that was fun because you could see the nervousness in them. Right, they're nervous, they're excited, they're meeting you for the first time.
The stranger's driving them.
Right, the stranger's driving them at least 45 minutes. But it's that time alone where you don't have to worry about the car stealing the light, and you get to know the person. Like, hey,
We learned the most about them.
yeah. You had that time, and then when you pull into the dealership, then they're like, oh, where is it? And then you pull it around, and they're grinning. But, I mean, for me, that's the most important part. I miss that part the most, going to the airport, picking people up. One of my other favorite ones was picking up Ryan Wolf from the airport, or meeting him out here. He had a SRT-10 Dodge single cab Ram that he was trading in. And, you know, he's very brand loyal, but watching his YouTube channel grow, his Instagram, I mean, his truck's probably going to make a 9-second pass this year. Just knowing the chassis came from here is exciting.
Yeah.
And watching him grow like you are on Instagram and stuff. But I like that one. That was probably one of my favorites.
Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of customer interaction with my day-to-day, but some customer scenarios that kind of remind me is Alvarez's Mustang.
Jimmy.
I'm sure we remember that one. I remember it was before I was introduced to the performance team officially. We took it out to data log, and I think actually it was the day I was going to shoot it, and you're like, let me show you what this is about. And that was the first 1,000 horsepower car that we did, my very first 1,000 horsepower car I'd ever been in, obviously. And I just remember I'm like, I have no idea what to expect here.
Land of Illusions.
And with it being a 6-speed as well, that car was just nutty. That thing was
We
unreal.
put that car through the paces.
Yeah.
That thing did some work. I remember watching that car shoot fire out of the back when we were on the dyno. That one was insane. I'll do one more and then we'll get to the raffles because I think we're coming in on an hour here. Yeah. My last one, I've told you guys this story. My first SEMA trip. You've heard this story.
I've heard it, but I can't remember.
So my beyond the family with the 67, my favorite memory is everyone has watched a movie where you see Vegas at night, and Vegas is is my favorite city on earth. I love Las Vegas, love going to Vegas, and love Vegas at night, as you and I have been there together, and got married there. My first year that I went to SEMA, we were building a customer's car that was going to be featured at SEMA. Unfortunately, he doesn't make it. So he drives the car to SEMA and just drives it around because he lives in California, so he drives it to SEMA. So I met him for dinner that night, met him and his friends, and met actually a vlogger who's really, Amelia Hartford, a massive vlogger for the auto scene now. Met him, her, and a couple of his business partners there. We all had dinner, and then he said, hey, we're going to go to this other place and just have drinks. I said, cool. And he said, we're going to take the Mustang. I said, awesome. So everybody else gets in a Tesla, and then he's got the Mustang parked there at the Mirage out in Valet. So it's underneath the lights of the Mirage, and so it's. I feel like I'm in Ocean's 11. I feel like we're having a great time. So we're Rain Man. We're approaching the valet. He tips the valet, gets the keys, and he throws me the keys and says, cool, we're going to the MGM. You're driving. In Vegas. In the middle of the night. So I'm already nervous. It's his car. I know everything about the car. It's beautiful ruby red, carbon fiber, everything. Beautiful forged wheels. Roush Phase 2 on it. I mean, it was just insane, the car. It was just one of the most pretty cars. And that video is still on YouTube as well. We pull out, and it's got active exhaust in it, so I flip the exhaust wide open. And I look over at him, and we're getting ready to pull out. I was like, hey, this is kind of a weird moment for me, so can I, you care if I get on it? Because I know he doesn't drive it hard. He's like, yeah, that's fine. Pulling out of the valet onto Las Vegas Boulevard, and there's tons. It's middle of night in Vegas. There's tons of people. And they hear the car fire up, so they all stop and wait for us to get out. And we get this perfect pull out where there's no traffic ahead of us for 2 blocks. And I said, okay, I'm going to stand on it. And I literally just brake boost it and just rip this thing and fishtail it out onto Las Vegas Boulevard and jam down Las Vegas Boulevard underneath all the lights, down the strip. And I'm literally like, this is a dream, dude. What is happening right now? So just being able to get to drive a car that I helped oversee the build. That was a really special moment for me in my favorite city with an awesome customer who trusted me enough to just throw me the keys to his car. That will forever be a moment I'll never forget. It was just such a fun time.
Pretty good moment.
Your memories are like movies.
I've had a pretty good life.
I mean,
I've been very fortunate. When you play in this business, a lot of opportunities come up to you, and you just enjoy them.